This is AJ Haynes from Seratones, and you're watching Takeover TV. Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Sounds great. Masturbate. Sounds great.
Oh, is that how we start this thing off?
Grown ass woman. I don't know. Do what I want.
Oh, hey, I ain't stopping you. You know, I ain't stopping you. Oh boy, Takeover TV come back in stride, don't they? So how you been?
I've been okay. I've been good. I can't complain. I'm healthy.
Yeah.
Got a cool backyard.
Yeah.
Got people I love.
Yeah.
I got food.
But the number one thing is your health, especially these days and times right now.
Oh my God, this shit is wild.
Wild, ain't it? Wow. Golly. It's like in January, we were just watching, in February, we were just watching the Super Bowl. A month and a half later, you can't even watch sports. Just like that.
No sports.
So how's this whole shutdown thing affected you, you know, personally? I know you ain't been able to tour and all that, but, you know.
Well, essentially, like, with the band, we were toward the end of, like, kind of the album cycle.
Uh-huh.
So we'd done the heaviest legs of touring already, have been kind of, you know, are behind us for the most part as far as, like, getting out and really getting on the street and promoting the record, because it was released, like, in August. So we did, I mean, just nonstop. And, you know, now my focus is, like, what's next? You know, we have had some changes, like my bassist is leaving, my keyboard player's leaving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is, a lot of things are shifting. I'm talking with some other people about joining the band. So it's just like, you know, I think I don't want to say the silver lining of everything, because I feel like silver linings, I hate when people say that shit, because I'm like, you're not dealing with the reality, which is hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like, when you think about the positive outcome of everything of this virus, it's that it's shaken things to reveal what needs to be changed anyway, right? And I think, like, as an artist, it's our job to say, okay, there are changes, how do I adapt? You know, how do I adapt and overcome? How do I adapt and create? And so as far as how the virus has affected me now, I mean, when it first happened, like, I was flying back and forth across the country. I was doing a lot of advocacy for reproductive health, like from DC to LA and back. So I was flying around in the middle of this virus, making its way over to the country, you know. But I was wearing a mask the whole time because I'm a full nut and people are nasty. And on a plane, I'm wearing a mask because I don't want to breathe in other people's shit. So I was good. Praise him. Like, I didn't.
So you was wearing the mask anyway before this COVID-19.
Because I'm half Asian, yes. There's a real stereotype. This is real. I am not playing. I ain't gonna hop on no mask. I ain't gonna hop on a plane without a mask. People are gross.
You right.
You talking about when this virus story is like, Pog, wash your hands. Who's not washing their hands anyway?
Shoot, I'd probably tell you about 65% of people probably ain't washing their hands.
Wash your hands. But you know, like, kind of having that revelation of like, okay, what is the next step? Like, what is the next message? Because this last album was super, super personal, you know, like, we shifted from like, I want a rock and roll band to like, well, like, what does rock and roll even mean to me? You know, the whole reason I started the band was like a reclamation of space. Like, Black people started rock and roll, yet we're the least visible in the medium.
Can you say that again?
Yeah.
Because I argued this point with somebody. They believe me.
Who, did they not read history? Like, bitch, all this came from Africa, first of all.
Right. Exactly.
So, like, Black people invented rock and roll, and yet we're the least visible, the least prominent.
In
right?
rock and roll.
In rock and roll. And so, like, the point of starting the band was to say, like, no, this is ours and this is mine and I can do what I want, you know.
And you have?
And I have. And then I reached a point where I was like, you know, part of what I love about rock and roll is the brashness, is the loud, you know. But what happens when I don't want to be loud anymore? What happens, like, I'm tired of trying to yell at people. What happens when you have to shift to more intimate space, kind of in your narrative, in your creative space. And that's what happened with this last album. And I needed to hear like soul music, like, and genre is this bendy, weird thing depending on who pays what for marketing, right?
Right.
That's all it is marketing. But there is lineage and there is narrative. And so what I love about the narrative specifically of like soul music is that it's in America coming from like a reclamation of space, coming from dealing with really difficult subject matter in real time and trying to find peace with it, right? And I think that, you know, blues coming from rock and roll has something similar, but it's not the same thing. You know, it's not like soul music for me is defined by blackness, like, especially coming from that era when black self-actualization was such a prominent part of American culture. Like soul music is inherent to that. And so for me, that's like, how does that fit into my brain? How does that fit into my reality every day? And that's what I found comfort in more than anything was like, I need to listen to some Sam Cooke before I kill the motherfucker. Like, that's how I feel right now. Like, I need to listen to Aretha so I can figure out how I feel about things because what I'm seeing isn't making sense, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think I'm still in that place very much now. Like when the virus first really started becoming recognized, I was like, I don't feel like doing shit. I'm just gonna hop into bed. I'm gonna go to work if I need to. I don't want to create anything, right? Like I want to grieve. I want to be sad because this sucks. And this is hard.
Yeah.
And I felt like a lot of my peers and a lot of people like just felt the need to like make and like how productive can we be? And it's like, fuck that. Like if you're sad, be sad. Like, if you want to grieve, just grieve. Like we shouldn't be measured by our productivity all the time. That's the problem anyway. Like,
I agree.
And so I'm like coming out of that to like, okay, what's the message now? Like where are we going? You know, that's kind of, you know, like whenever you have, like when my grandma, whenever something would happen, she'd be like, she still does. I'll call her if I'm upset about something. She'd be like, it's okay, but you got to get your shit together. You know, that's the kind of, the process of grieving and then reflection and then creation. I think like that's where I'm shifting to now. Because I'm not a robot. You know, artists aren't supposed to be factories. We're not supposed to produce all the time, and yet we're pressured to by an industry that doesn't make any sense. You know, so now I'm just trying to figure out like, where's my head at, you know?
Right. You know, it took me 2 years to get this interview.
Yeah. It's been a while, dude. Like,
it's been a minute because
I haven't been in town. This is the longest I've ever spent home.
Right. Because even before I had met you, after the 2018, what was that? What's that? The festival.
Yeah.
The festival. I used to ask people, who I need to interview? They said AJ Haynes. I'm like,
that's so sweet.
I'm like, who is that?
I don't know if you should interview me. I'm gonna tell the truth, and that's all. People don't like that.
And then my Photoshop teacher, her name's Jennifer. I can't remember her last name.
What's her last?
She wears glasses. She taught Photoshop at Bipsy, right?
Okay.
And she was like, what do you do? I like, well, you know, I do my job, but then I vlog, and, you know, I got a YouTube channel and all that. She's like, you know who you should interview? I'm like, who? AJ Haynes.
That's so sweet.
I'm like, man, I keep hearing his name.
Who is he? What does he do?
So you showed up at the thing, and I'm like, somebody said, hey, that's AJ. I'm like, okay, now this is who this is. Okay. And then, you know, we had met, and then, you know, then that's when I found about the Seratones, and I went home and put it on YouTube, and then all these videos. I'm like, oh.
It's been a crazy 2 years, man. Like, I haven't even, this is the longest time I've ever spent home, like, since I've started the band.
Yeah, I know, because I couldn't get an interview booked for nothing. Like, sorry, I'm out of town. Sorry, I won't be back.
Gone.
Sorry. Like,
I've been gone. Now I'm back, hanging out with my plants.
So if I'm not mistaken, you was born in Japan. Right?
I was born in Yokosuka, Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, Navy.
Oh, yeah. So that. How long was you over there?
Until I was like maybe 4 or 5, something
4 or
like
5
that.
years. Okay.
And then my mother is from the Philippines, so she moved to the Philippines, and that's where she met my dad. My dad's from Columbia, Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
So if you know where Monroe is, it's south of that.
Okay.
So it's country as shit. That's why I'm like, I need to be by some plants.
Yeah, I see your greenery.
I can't like, all my friends that live in these big ass cities, I'm like, I don't think I can do that. Like, I need some plants. I need some space.
Right.
And I need my rent not to be super expensive. Real talk.
I know, right? So when you first start singing, I know you started singing around 6.
Around 6, I grew up singing in church. Yeah. Yeah, my grandma was like, you gotta go sing. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. Why not? And I've just been doing it ever since, yeah.
So when did you know that you had it? Like, yeah, I could sing for real. Cause you know how kids are. They get in the choir. You really can't tell if you can sing or can't sing. You just sing in the choir. Everybody claps because they're kids.
But the church is one of the most beautiful and also one of the most judgmental places in the world, and they will tell you about yourself.
That's true.
So I knew from a very early age that they weren't lying to me. But it feels great. It feels like what I should be doing, like, and there's some days I can tell when I'm like depressed or when I'm like not happy because I'm not singing a lot, but it's like, that's how depression works, right? It's this trick. Like, singing makes you happy. Singing is like scientifically makes things go off in your head that make your chemicals better, so when I'm not happy, I should be singing anyway. Because it's good for me. It's good for people. It's good for people to sing. Even if you can't sing well, you should still do it.
Only in the shower.
In the shower. Do it. Live your life.
No, I don't think singing is my thing. I need to interview. I don't need to sing.
You're
Trust
still
me.
using your voice.
You are made to sing. I made the interview.
So, okay.
I stay in my lane. I don't get in your lane.
Okay. I'm not good at interviewing people. I can't stay on topic.
Well, see, that's the reason we both have our different
There we
gifts. Because you get me a guitar, it's about to sound bad. I give you a guitar, you about to turn it out. There's a difference there.
Just put it in open tuning. That's the trick. So anything you hit sounds like a chord. Sounds cool.
No, you do it a whole lot better than I
Okay.
do. You ain't going to be able to sell me on this. So, I mean, you grew up singing.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get into the rock aspect of it?
It's pretty natural.
And I love rock. I love classic rock, especially.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I came to it Jimi Hendrix is where I started. One of my best friends, his name's Chris James, who's a phenomenally talented guitarist. Like, he's so good. He's been playing with Mariba, and he plays with all these cool folks based in LA. And so he went to high school here. We were friends. He gave me my first guitar, my first record. My first record was live at Monterey Pops Festival, Jimi Hendrix and Otis Redding, the two sides. And so I was like, oh, cool, this is what I should be doing.
That's a nice duo.
Right? I'm not bad for your first record, So I was really lucky to have people be a really positive influence. And then I just obsessed over Jimi Hendrix, and then from there I was like, oh, I love the Animals. And yeah, I grew up listening to a lot of doo-wop and a lot of Phil Spector and the Ronettes and, all that stuff, it's all part of the same thing. I mean, the Ronettes were rock and roll as shit. I mean, you survive a toxic ass white dude, Phil Spector's crazy gun wielding ass. That's pretty rock and roll to me.
Yeah, that's
You know what I'm saying? Cool, you did it. He was a psycho. Damn. So, I mean, I think rock and roll is just, for me, I think of rock and roll as very American. But then the more I started digging and the more I started digging around, I was like, oh, there's all this Peruvian rock, and there's how these different cultures interpret something and make it their own.
Not to stop you, but what's your favorite Jimi Hendrix song? You can give me 2. I know it's hard.
Honestly, I really like Third Stone from the Sun.
Okay.
Because I really love instrumentals. I've been really into that lately, especially like lately I've been listening to a lot of Alice Coltrane. It's like so good for your soul, you know. Like she did a lot of ecstatic, like kind of praise music infused with jazz, and she played a harp. Anyway, so third stone from the sun. I mean, Machine Guns.
Okay.
Yeah, Machine Guns is one of my favorite.
I think Fire is number one for me.
Yeah, nice.
Fire. And of course Voodoo Child number
Yeah, I mean they're all so good. I mean, how can you have a?
2. Yeah, that's iconic stuff there.
Now I love stuff with Band of Gypsies, Buddy with like. I mean, you can't lose with Buddy Miles on playing drums and singing. You know, like it's just so good. I have so much respect for drummers that can sing, and Buddy Miles could sing like shit. Have you ever heard his version of Down by the River? He does this version of a Neil Young song, and it's like so slow that you think it's almost like chopped and screwed. You know, it's like so like heavy.
What you know about chopped and screwed?
I might look like I'm 12, okay? But I'm not, and I was around for that time.
I'm just asking if come from Texas so that, you know, I
We're
got
like
to know.
we're like, we could throw a rock at Texas from here.
I understand, but some people, they still don't know about chopped and screwed.
How?
I don't know.
How do you not know
Don't ask
about
me.
that?
That's my culture. I know.
I love chopped and screwed music.
Look
Now,
at
I didn't ever get into the scissor because, you know, I need to keep all my brain cells that I got.
Stuff stop your heart.
Yes.
That's what happened to Pimp C,
I know.
allegedly. But
That's precisely what happened.
yeah, I always say allegedly. Me being a media guy, and they ain't
Well,
finna come
that's smart.
kick my ass.
Yeah, you gotta don't talk stuff you don't know. You're right.
I know, right? So you got in the rock and roll. How the Seratones come about?
So I'd been writing. So like I started messing around with like having a cover band. So I had this cover band called Age of Haynes in the Monkey Business.
Yeah, well, what they call again?
Age of Haynes in the Monkey Business.
Okay.
And
Interesting. Well, okay.
Yeah, I was in college and I needed money and I wanted to play music. And the way that you make money around, you know, this region a lot of times is cover bands.
Hey, get your hustle on.
You know? And so
Yeah.
I was like, I can't afford my books, so I need to make some money. And I'd always wanted to start a band and cover seemed like a good idea. So my current drummer, he and I have been like playing music together forever, you know, over a decade. And started this band, and then I got tired of playing covers, and then I started writing original stuff, more like kind of folky kind of stuff. And I submitted to the music prize, and then it was like, oh shit, I'm gonna play a live show. I need a band. And so I asked the guys that had played in my cover band, my old guitarist, and we didn't have a bassist at the time. And I won. That was pretty sweet. So I was like, okay, cool. Let's see, you know. And from there, I was like, I don't really want it to be under my name because I have like imposter syndrome. Like, it's also a lot of, you know, I have so much respect for solo artists. I really do. Like, I think that the kind of head trip of it all, if you're a good person who's not in their ego all the time, like, it's got to be really tough, you know, to have to you know, gash yourself up all the time. Like, that's
Right.
really tough. I've always wanted a unit. You know, I loved Iggy Pop and the Stooges, and I always loved that like kind of raw power, like loud and blah, you know. And all the guys that were in the band and Seratones originally were all in punk bands before. And so in Shreveport, when I was in high school, I used to go to like H&H Lounge and Big D's, and we'd have punk shows. We didn't have shit else to do.
Okay.
Wow, I've smoked so many joints in that alley.
Look at you. Yeah, you are a rocker.
It was crazy. I look back and I'm like, I did what? Like, what was I doing? And I felt really safe though. Like, honestly, I know that, you know, that area it's got a reputation for being really volatile, but I felt like the community took care of its own. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, people look out for you, and I've never felt unsafe. You know, I always felt like, okay, you also got to trust your gut, you know. And so that's how the band started, was from me going to punk shows and stuff, and then deciding to write music, and then deciding I wanted a band, and I wanted to be like its own kind of thing, and not necessarily like me as a solo artist.
Well, you won music prize. I mean, was that your first time competing in music prize and y'all won? Or?
It was the first year of it, and we won.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, the first year.
It was the first year that it happened.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really grown into something really great. I'm stoked. Gregory Collin, you know, Greg's doing a lot of great stuff. He's an awesome dude.
So y'all have been on a lot of big stuff, like the Tiny Desk and,
that was cool.
and CBS. And how did all that come about?
I think with any of these kind of bigger, I don't say bigger, like really established like things, it just depends on who's curating it, right? And if that person that's curating it likes your band, then they'll ask you to play. We have the advantage of having label support, and our publicist's amazing. Like, Jackie's just like the best. She's been with us since we started with Fat and Possum, and yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people, you know, Bob Boylan for Tiny Desk, he's like a tastemaker, right? Like, the whole idea of the Tiny Desk is just really cool. You get to see things really stripped down. My favorite, like, they're artists that I don't even like, and I love their Tiny Desk concert. You know, because you get to really see, like, oh, they're really good. You know,
because it's so intimate. You know what I'm saying?
It is like, terrifying. That was the most nervous I've been.
I was going to ask you about that.
Like, crazy.
What made it so terrifying? Because I heard the venue is not really that big.
It's not a venue. It's somebody's desk. It's Bob Boylan's desk. So you're in like an office space, and everyone comes out of the cubicle with their coffee and shit, and they're just hanging out and staring at you. And it's like dead quiet. There's no lights. It's just like fluorescent lighting, you know, in an office. And then one mic, and then they mic the small amps and stuff. It's like, there's nowhere to hide, you know? If you're on a stage, then you're on a platform, and there's lights and all the theater of it. And Tiny Desk is like, nope.
So it's like, it's nothing else. There's no distractions. It's like, everybody's looking at you.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my three favorite actually, my Tiny Desk concerts, Tyler, the creator's Tiny Desk is really cool because he changes the lighting and stuff. Like, because he's a visionary, like, whatever. He's a fucking visionary. He's a genius. He is. I don't care what people say. I love him. But he like changed all the lights and stuff. And then Moses Sumney, his Tiny Desk concert was really cool.
Let's see. I think I got a few. Big Daddy Kane. I liked his.
I love T-Pain's, actually.
I didn't see T-Pain.
He can sing.
I didn't see T-Pain.
I was like, he's been auto-tuning this whole time.
You know,
he can really sing.
I like Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, classic, yeah.
I like Rock M's. I like Big Boys.
I haven't seen Big Boys.
I like Big Boys.
When was that?
His was cool. His was...
Of course it's cool.
Maybe a couple years ago, maybe a year ago or so. I like his. Did I say Wu-Tang's? Wu-Tang had a cool one.
Yeah.
Big...
Really?
I'm studying coming. Big Crit.
Okay. Well, I need to go watch some more.
And of course, the Seratones. But I would probably watch the Seratones more than anybody. Because, like I said, I like rock.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was cool.
Well, it's cool, like, shifting from, you know, like, I think I'll always, you know, I feel like every time I listen to myself, it's kind of weird. I'm like, weird voice. You know, I don't really sing like anyone else I know. Like,
that's good.
I think it's good. I mean, it's got me.